So you're all welcome here. I want to thank you for coming, and I want to thank the Lacerswell team for putting this on. We're very aware it's not all they do in their long, busy, important day managing your retirement. So to add this, we appreciate it. Again, how it works is we have a phone number, an 800 number. You can call at 2 in the morning. It'll go to our voicemail. We have a good voicemail, and we'll pick it up early. So don't fret with those problems. Don't go Googling or chat GPTing around for something that you're a little unsure of. We're glad to help you. Our first thing is going to be back to school purchases. And I put together a list of really affordable tech, replacement parts of things that you use already that are pretty inexpensive right now. They're in the end cap. When you walk into Staples or Best Buy, you'll see them by the cash register or on Amazon specials. And these are things that you use over and over again, like your phone charging cord and other types of things. Next, we'll talk about, well, I guess winter times, fall time, tech junk cleanup. Do you have a drawer with a bunch of wires in there? Do you have an old portable phone that you used around the house? The kind you just put in the corner and plug into the wall, and you don't use that one anymore, and it's sitting in a drawer somewhere. Well, that thing has a battery in it, some kind of battery in it. Might be time to recycle. We'll look at how to recycle it locally, what's ethical, and how to separate the wheat from the chaff. Maybe you have an original first generation Apple computer and it's worth $100 million. So we'll look through that. Microsoft Word. For all of you, I'm sure this, when you work for the city, you were using Microsoft Word as your word processor. As many of you know, if you have a Windows 11 computer or something newer, the old product doesn't work as well or won't work any longer. And now to purchase Microsoft Office Suite, which is Word and Excel and PowerPoint and different products under the Microsoft umbrella, it's $100 a year. It was 69, it went up to 99. And it's even more, it's like 129 for the family plan, which means you can have like 5, you can give it to other members of your family. But those days they're raising the price because they have less and less users. More folks are using Google Docs for their word processing, Google Sheets, and the other Google products to replace it. So we'll talk about that. If you're still, I'm still a business, so we get a lot of Word documents, so I still have to keep paying for it. The next one is, you're planning any travel at the end of the summer, or what would happen if the Wi-Fi went out in your house? Your phone, most phones, 90% of phones are portable hotspots. You can turn that in the good conditions, decent conditions, into a hotspot. That means your phone.
Recording in progress.
Love that. What you will see on your phone is you can create a hotspot, which is a Wi-Fi network. So you can, on that Wi-Fi network, put your maybe television Netflix on, or your other computer, or let somebody else, or a different location. So that phone is pretty powerful. And I'll explain how that works. And it's really no extra money to you. We'll do our scam busters. We hope nobody has participated, but they are getting better and better. They're even getting me. That AI, the artificial intelligence, is learning how to tailor all those communications from an email to a text to a fraudulent phone call to a snail mail letter to really feel like it's accurate, because it's learning you, from your years on the internet. It can gather data and sort of understand what can make you think or move forward. So we'll spend a small amount of time like trying to understand what AI sounds like. I've been playing with it now for about a year and a half, and you can sort of hear the accent, like when it's not real. And we'll talk about little tricks you can do with that. We'll do a spotlight, and this is out of the way actually, legacy email contact. What if you have someone in your life, older, life's realities, or yours? What happens to your emails? What happens to your years of Yahoo Mail and AOL Mail afterwards, or someone else's? You can make a legacy contact, and that means somebody else can get into your account and access your emails. This is good for, sadder events, but it also means if you are unavailable for a week or two, somebody can then go in there and respond for you, a trusting person, which goes into a bigger subject of who to share your personal information, your phone code or your computer code, and so on and so forth. I have found that a lot of people will certainly share their most important codes with their loved ones, their bank, their retirement, their insurance, but they're remiss to share their Netflix code because they want to make sure they don't miss the next episode. Amazon alternatives, who else can you order from? I read that Bed Bath & Beyond is just going to be online now, but are there any Amazon alternatives, or do they really own the market? I think we'll all answer that together. Slip and fall digital devices. What happens in that terrible slip and fall situation? The life alert around the neck, Will your phone work? Will a watch work? And at the very end, I wrote telemedicine. I don't know what telemedicine, but I'm going to put a imaginary T in there. It'd be telemedicine. We always talk about anybody's experiences, not with your exact visit, but preparation and so on and so forth. And of course, questions after everything. So let's go right to spending money. You know, nothing better than being on your computer and spending money. And let's talk about some things that I did for my list for some of our customers that are not mobile and in their homes that we, our company, our shop can go buying for them inexpensively to update some of the peripherals, the little things. If you have a Grody keyboard or an old mouse or the cover to your phone, the little silicone cover is just 4 years old now. It's not as resilient anymore, but it's just rubber. When the water, I was a chemist in my past life, the water, the H2O in that rubber dries up and all those polymers to get brittle, and it doesn't have the same safety if you drop it at the wrong angle. So let me share my screen and go for our early shopping list. All right, these are the things that I noticed because I go into these stores because I have to run and get things last minute, and Amazon isn't necessarily it. Chargers and power. The rule is on your phone or your tablet or your laptop, it's very important to make sure you have the original charger. That doesn't always happen. Maybe with your laptop or maybe with your desktop computer, but sometimes with the tablet or the phone, a couple of years on, you lose, a cord, or you don't have the original power bank that plugs into the wall. This is a good time, to go in there and just pick up a new charger. Charging is everything. Obviously, without a charger, without having a phone charge, you don't have a phone. So I've seen them, $3.99, $4.99, different colors, pink, blue, green. So you can go and just look at those end caps and match the charging end that for your phone. And you can even buy one of those little bricks that you plug into the wall. And you can buy an extra one, if you lose one. And if you want to buy a good one, you just want to make sure it works for that phone. Portable power bank, the lights go out. This goes back to, well, I forgot about that, but the fires at the beginning of the year, you're running around, and where do you plug in? That portable power bank, you can buy it. You can look at one. They're smaller than your phone. You just plug them into the wall. It comes with a little charger, and then it fills in. And you plug one end of that power bank with the cord they provide into your phone or tablet, and you can get a charge. It's great at the airport. I think the most scary part at the airport is if you are low on power, there's usually only like one pole at my gate in LAX, and it's like filled. There's like 20 people there, and they're all 27. And I feel like walking over there, it's like I'm looking for a confrontation. It's like, who's using that port for 40 minutes? Having a charge is pretty important. Computer and tablet accessories. If you have a wireless mouse and your computer's not as responsive, it just doesn't click as well, you can get a new wireless mouse connected to a little dongle. That's like a little chip that you can plug into the USB port, or you can connect it via Bluetooth. And often it will speed up your computer. If you have a slow computer, it's just that your mouse is, the optical on the other side of it, and that faces down on the mouse pad or the desk is dirty or old or brittle. It's made of plastic. Here's one I saw, a large letter keyboard. If you know somebody who's struggling with their keyboard and vision, you can get a large letter keyboard, and you can also look for that word backlit. So you can plug that into their computer, and now you have a bigger keyboard with bigger letters, which it really is helpful in scamminess. So when you're typing in bankofamerica.com, you see the letters and you're not typing in bankofamerico.com, and then it's going to some scam website. The other one is a USB hub. If your device has limited, if you're not on a tablet or phone, we're talking, has limited spaces to plug accessories in. Those things are $10 to $15. You plug it into the USB port, and it can give you 2, 3, 4 different adapters, even newer styles, the smaller ones. Organization, laptop and tablet stands, something that fits you right. It never fails at the shop. Somebody comes in and puts their laptop down on the table, and it just sort of goes further away from them. It goes back on the desk, and then they lean really deeply into it. Instead of making the laptop work for them or the tab, not pulling it closer to them, finding your comfort zone in the chair, and then adjusting that piece of mechanical device in front of you to work for you. And so they have these sort of cool tablet stands, cable organizers that will go into tech recycling. And of course, I mentioned protective cases for your phone, those sleeves, replace those if they get too old. Everyday tech things. If you're somebody that wants to save pictures and items from your computer to a little portable thumb drive or flash drive, and then put them on there for safety, and then remove those pictures from your computer because you need the room. Those are pretty inexpensive now. Wired headphones or Bluetooth earbuds. I've seen all sorts of ones. Those get older too. So a newer one is maybe sounds a little better, cleaner, moves the charge between the earphone and the cable or the Bluetooth better. And of course, screen cleaning kits. But here's my little secret. Next time you go to the doctor's office and they leave the room, pocket about 25 little alcohol wipes, the little teeny ones, and you'll be just fine. But the concept is you can go and I heard a couple laughs. I think it was my first laugh of the day. Um, so, but the concept is you can buy screen cleaning kits, little fiber-free wipes and things like that. Here's a safety one who's had a surge protector or one of those bricks with 10 things plugged in behind your desk or table since before the pandemic. They get old. You can feel it if it's really warm. If you just want a more modern one, you can get just a new strip, has a new little breaker on it if something goes off, and swap that out. If it's, really old and you feel as though it's, you can feel it if it's warm. That shows that it's, moving on a little bit. And these have gotten really cheap. We know that on your phone, you can click Find My iPhone to lose it, but you can buy little tiles, little Apple AirTags, these little pucks, and you can slip it in your wallet. You can slip it in, attach it to your keychain. Example, I give something, you can attach it to any device, and I have somebody that's in a like assisted living, and so we tap some things on their, attach it to their personal property when they're sort of in a group living environment, and be able to keep an eye on it. Yeah, it's right there. I like that idea. I like the idea of the little tiles or air tags. As a tech junk drawer, be honest, who has wires, who has wires even plugged in, you don't know where they go to in the back, right? You just, they could be just an old cable for a different kind of phone you had back in the day, right? Are you saying no, you're perfectly clean back there? Yeah, so gather all that stuff. It's not, I don't think it's toxic, but I don't necessarily think it should be laying around the house. You can clean all that and put it in the box. Uh, you can easily go and look for a tech recycling center. So if I go share, I go here and I'm gonna go tech recycling Las Vegas, just to use a closer one. And there's a bunch of places you can go. If you're closer, tech recycling, and I'm going to go Hollywood, California. So it's not the easiest place to get to, but these kind of places you can just get to. Now, the other thing you can do is I know Home Depot takes batteries. If you bag up all your batteries at the return section of Home Depot, that customer section where you go to return the stuff, which is always slower than the purchasing section. That section has the batteries. You can check your Best Buy and Staples. And you can do that online, by the way. Does my local Staples zip code take batteries and items? So wrap that stuff and give it away. And maybe you'll also find something you can sell. If something's worth selling, then we can discuss eBay. But I would clear that stuff out, especially the batteries. The batteries definitely degrade and they fall apart. And once they start falling apart, they expand the device, and it could spread to anything else in the drawer. Moving on from that, let's go to the most hot topic because the month of October is coming close, and October is a landmark in computing. For those of you, who's a Windows user? Who uses a Windows? Let's separate the wheat from the chaff. Who's a Windows user? Who's a proud Windows user going back? Nice. These are Windows going back to Windows XP, Windows 7, loyal, faithful, all the way through every version of Windows. Ah, look at all those fans. Look at that. We are not alone. Who's an Apple user? Who's that beautiful, sleek Apple user, that elegant machine that came out in a bunch of different colors and it was portable and unique and made sense in everything you do? Well, this doesn't apply to you per se. I see a cheer there. Who's doing that? Brenda. So, as we know, as Windows goes through its platforms, Windows 7, Windows 8.1, Windows XP, and then the big change, Windows 10, they eventually stop supporting the platform that's before the present one. So right now, the newest platform is Windows 11. So they've been sending out this notice, and let's go look at it. It's pretty important, and it's nothing to be scared about. It's like doesn't mean you have to go and skip dinner and buy a new computer, but it's something to think about. Windows 10 ceases support. Let's go take a look at this. So October 14th, Microsoft will no longer provide security updates, non-security updates, or assisted support users except to make them change over to Windows 11. We're gonna get to some questions. I knew this one would have a good one. So what does that mean practically? It means that your car right now, you can bring in, you get an oil change, they can have a part to change the muffler, the catalytic converter, or any of those parts. Windows, Microsoft is not going to do that any longer. You can't drive your Windows 10 into the Pep Boys and say, I want to change out the hard drive. They say, we don't make parts for that anymore. They don't support that anymore, which means as it begins to get older, the most negative thing is that eventually scammers and hackers can get in there more easily because nobody's attending to it anymore. Nobody's painting the outside of your house. So the elements are going to start wearing down the stucco, so on and so forth. Doesn't mean hundreds of millions of users are still not going to use it. The next thing that it means is that developers of things like Google or WhatsApp or Facebook or Amazon are not going to build their websites to work with Windows 10 perfectly. They're going to put their energy on having them work best in a Windows 11 environment. So what does that mean for you? If you have a Windows 10 computer, who still uses a computer, a laptop or a desktop? Like who still, that's their flow. They sit down and they get the cup of coffee and they open the bills and they start clicking away and paying the bills and things like that, right? Or, doing your business online. That Windows 10 computer is still going to work. Certainly, you're going to go on the internet. You're going to go to lacers.org. And when you sign in, it's between you and the internet. But other things can get sticky after a while. So now is a good time, if you feel comfortable, I mean, not in this meeting, or you can call us at the shop, to go into your settings and see if there are any updates waiting for you in your Windows 10. Just give it an extra, you'll open settings. On the bottom, you'll see Windows Update and give that a click. And don't do it in the middle of a meeting, I assure you. And don't do it if you're not on good Wi-Fi. Do it when it's plugged in and it's stable and it starts to update. You can walk away and then come back. Try to get your updates in. If you don't feel comfortable, call us or just don't do them. Some people don't update because they don't want to lose a certain program. If your computer is capable of updating to Windows 11, there's a place to go. You can go, I'll share my screen again. You can go to a website called Windows Health Check. So let's go to Windows Health Check. And let's go, is it right here? Okay, so it'll show you, you can download this thing called Windows Health Check, and it will tell you, it will show you if your computer is capable of handling Windows 11. So it'll go through a bunch of processes and then you'll download it. And after you set it all up, it'll take you to see if your computer is capable of running Windows 11. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 aren't anymore, especially if they're, 6 or 7 years older. But you can check that. And if your computer is capable of moving to Windows 11, then we always recommend making sure you have a backup, but then you're in good shape. You can move that up. If not, maybe think of going shopping. Again, not an urgent thing to run out the door, but by next year at this time, Windows 10, next year, a year from this October, Windows 10 will be much older and probably even more buggy. So it's something to think about. Maybe bug the kids for, this year's holiday present. And so what Apple does, how they play the game is, many of you remember when your first Apple, it was an operating system called Yosemite or Snow Leopard or Big Sur or Monterey. Those were some of the previous ones. At some point, you'll go and you'll try to you'll know that my computer will update to Apple Sequoia, which is the latest one. But yours is stuck on Monterey. There's no option to update. That means they've done the same thing to your operating system and your computer that Windows did to their users. They said your computer is no longer capable to get our latest and greatest stuff, and they won't support it anymore. And now it's time to do it. They do it more on a suggestion. They must know something more about their users. Now, by the way, all your devices have updates. Take your phone, for example. Mm-hmm. All phones have an update option, and there's a lot of security in there as well. So not a bad idea in Apple to go to settings and look for software update. Same thing in Android. Go to settings and look for software update. Who's updated their phone in the past 6 months? It's been a conscious thing. Right. It's very much worth taking a look at. Hold on, I need to sign out of here. I want to try to show you something, but I think I'm not going to be able to. All right. So in your phone, look for those updates. Now, here are some notes on the phone updates. And that is when you update your phone, you should plug it in. It should be charging. Helps the update, uses more. Plug it in wherever you're going to go, usually at the end of the day, and then engage that update on either your phone or your tablet or your computer for that matter, and then let it go. Charging is everything, which brings us to a prize winning moment. Let's go gambling. Let's all get on the bus and head to Casino Morongo, Lacer's mom's computer. And let's play some smartphone poker. This is an important one on your phones. Well, let me preface this with whose phone is 3 years or older? Good phone, you're fine. It's just 2 or 3 years or older. Mine is a year and a half now. And if your phone is older than that, something good to note is your battery charge, where your battery charge is. So it's very often on the top of your phone. And if you locate that battery charge and you can tap it or you can see it, it will show your percentage. It will show the percentage of battery. So if you can find that and tell us your battery charge, the rule of thumb is you shouldn't leave the house with less than 70 to 75%. And the reason for that is when you leave your home, and we'll use your home as an example, you start texting, making a phone call, checking your Facebook, putting on Google Maps to get to the location. Your phone is not near a strong cell tower, so it's working a little harder to make a connection, and you'll burn more battery faster. It's very much akin to looking at the gas in your car, or I should say your charge in your car now, before you hit the road. Or you can be like me, and you can leave the office and get on the 405 at a Friday at 5:48 p.m. with running low on gas flashing, since yesterday on my car. That's why I didn't get an electric car. I didn't trust myself. I know where to get off on the 405 and get some gas almost at any time of day, but I don't know where to charge my car, in those kind of sections. So who's got 100% on their phone? Do I have any from the gallery? What about 60% or lower? Who doesn't plug their phone in all the time? They're afraid it's going to hurt the battery. That's an old wives' tale. You can leave your phone plugged in. You'll even notice on the top, it won't be charging anymore. It'll just use the cable as power. So when you go to bed at night, put a charger. When you go to Staples or Amazon and you get a $3.99 charger, get an extra one for that next to your couch, near the bed, and plug it in. And do that for your friend as well. What is my charge? I want to see what my charge is. My charge is, I'm 78%. So I'm sort of proud of my charge right now. But don't go there without that. Without that, the phone won't work, right? There's two things that make the phone not work. One is you forget the code, the 179643, right? Or only your face works and somebody else needs to use the phone. That phone's a brick at that point. And if it runs out of battery, it's useless. So answer A, if, forgetfulness is a thing. Well, I forgot something the other day. Yeah. I did this crate that I've been carrying around in the back of my car for 7 years. Perfect. That everything's in there. And one day I was doing a class and I set it by the side of the car and I reloaded. I was like, oh, my day is over. I'm so happy. And I drove off only to open my car a day later and say, where did I leave that crate? And yeah, it was like Hollywood and Vine area. So I think it's long gone, but it just happened. You know what I mean? I was accepting. I didn't beat myself up. I was totally accepting. Right? I had to go back to Home Depot, get a good crate. I had to go downtown to a fabric store, get new tablecloths. But it really happened. And like, what if it happens with the phone? So a couple of things is you can obviously share that with someone. But a trick I've done, we service some facilities where people don't have people. And you can take a Post-it, yellow Post-it, and you can put the code 16957 and put it behind a picture or a mirror, in the house somewhere. And then somebody, can say, so-and-so's code is behind, the picture of Elvis. But that one you're out. And if you run out of battery, you're in trouble. That one doesn't work as well. Who uses Microsoft Word? Who's a Microsoft Word user? Who's still clicking those Microsoft Words, cutting and pasting, file, save as? I mean, Microsoft's wonderful. It's a through line in a world of stuff that's too new. It's just too much to absorb at once. Microsoft keeps it 1998. They know their audience. They have not, while things change, they look a tad different. The commands pretty much stay the same and they're in the same place. However, they charge you for that. It's $100 a year for a subscription to Microsoft. Yes, free Open Office is a site you can download something. But I'm here to pitch, and it's called Open Office and people use it. But if you're not familiar, many of you have a free word processor, which is like an industry standard now.
Free
LAUSD.
OneDrive.
Yep. And it is, who has a Google account? Who has a Gmail? Who has a Gmail that ends in Gmail? Well, that means you have a wonderful, industry-wide, commonly used, highly functioning word processor. And one, by the way, that you don't have to go file save as anymore. It auto saves. So you can remember who was there sitting at their desk back in 1988 working on an early WordStar or WordPerfect document. Everybody went home from the office. You had to finish it because you better you finish it now. And then you say, stop, I'm going to go to the coffee machine. When they still had a coffee vending machine and the cup would drop down, and you come back and you forgot to click save. And you're back to the beginning again. I don't know, that send a chill up anybody's old office spine. Well, that has changed. That doesn't happen. It's auto save now. So let's take a quick little tour of that and show you how incredibly convenient it is. I'm going to share my screen. And let's go to Google. Now, probably the most important part of this is that I'm signed into my Google account. I'm going to go to my personal Google account, Ham Radio Elijah, not a company one. Here's me. I still operate a ham radio, KJ6KWW. 73s, everybody. And in this thing, I don't know, can you see it on the right here? This grid? Okay, the grid, that is your toolbox. That's where all the good goodies that come with Google, free, gratis, with just having a Gmail account. So if I click that open, there's some products you know of. YouTube is in there, Google Maps is in there, some widely used things. And I have one called Google Docs. Everyone gets it. There's no, and here we go. This is what the front page of Google Docs is. Let's take a look at Word. Let me close this. If I open Word, let's see what the front of Word looks like to see sort of comparison shopping here. There's my front of Word. It has some documents I've been working on. So not all that dissimilar. This has my recents underneath, and on here it has recent documents. The difference here, there's some templates over here, is there's blank document. Let's click the blank document. There's my blank document, a perfectly clean page. You can do anything you want with that. It has all the spacings. Dear Crystal and Alejandra, see you at the office Halloween party. Thank you. Elijah, blah, blah, blah. You put your date in there, however you want it. The document, you can make it, and obviously you can do anything you want. It works just like Word. I go on there, I can increase my font size. I can put a bold on there, all those items on there. I can change the formatting. It has, I can adjust it to the right, left, in the middle, bullet points, everything Word does. Here's where it gets a little different. So I have my document there. In the upper left, it'll say untitled document. I'm going to write Lacer's Christmas Fiesta. Look at me in the 100-degree weather thinking about Christmas Fiesta. I've named my document. So now I have that saved. A couple things I can do with it more easily. One is instead of saving it and trying to attach it to an email, I can click share in the upper right. And from my email address, Ham Radio Elijah, I could type in, I'll use Crystals, won't send it by mistake, or how do I have it spelled in here? I'm going to send it to Johan Christensen. I don't know. And
K-R-I.
I know, and oh, you know why? I'm in my personal account, Crystal. You're in the mom's computer account. So I'm just going to type in any name. That's right. So I'll do Dusty. I know Dusty from pre-mom's computer days. So now Dusty has his email in there. I can send him a message. Here is the catering list. Now I have even better choices. I can have Dusty be an editor, which means he can go into the document and change things. He can add things. No, we need more dip. Or I can go, Dusty is just a viewer, which means he can only see it and print it out. and send it to someone else. That's all he can do. Or I can make him a commenter. It's a cool feature. You get the document. Dusty can write a note on the side that says, should we do this? Should we do that? You spelled that wrong. And then once I've entered that name in there, I can click done and send him the document. Now, let's just say you want to print it. There's a little printer symbol. And it's going to pick up my brother printer in my location. And I'll be able to print that document. Now, here's where it gets really good for you Word people, or even open office people that are using Word, those wonderful products. And that is, you can save this as any format. We know that Word was the way to go for a long time. We also remember there was a time when you would make a document on your Microsoft computer, send it to your friend with an Apple or your colleague with an Apple computer, and they couldn't read it. They didn't know. And they invented something called a PDF, a portable document file, which is a way any computer or phone, old, new, depending, doesn't matter what the older systems are inside of it, can read the document. Well, if I go to File here, I can go to Download, and I could choose, I can save it as a Microsoft document, Microsoft Word. Let's say don't have Word, but Dusty has Word, and he's going to work in Word, doesn't want to use Google. I could save this as a Word document and send it to him. And then he gets a Word document and he opens it up. There's some fancy ones in here. A juicy one is the PDF. I could save that as a PDF. I'm going to call it Lace's Christmas Fiesta. I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm going to save it. And then I have a PDF, just a normal PDF. If that was saved as a Word document, then I'd be able to open it in Microsoft Word. Now, here's something silly. You're running away, you're getting busy all of a sudden, and somehow or another, you close it. You're like, oh my goodness, I just went through 4 days of creating that document for everybody, for the family reunion, and it's gone. Not to fear, those days are over. I'm going to go back to my Google Chrome, sign in. I'm going to go back to my personal account. Let's go back to my waffle. That's the official word for that. I was in a Google campus for a seminar a year ago, and they said, that's called the waffle. I open the waffle, I go to Google Docs, and lo and behold, automatically in my recent documents, Google has magically saved my item, which I can go then amend or clean up and go further. It's perfectly free. It really works. What's the catch? I think if you've lived long enough, and certainly you've managed a full career managing the city, there's always, okay, what's the catch? It's too good to be true. And yeah, things are often too good to be true. And certainly online, everything is too good to be true. Just remember, look at your machine right now and pretend smoke is coming out of it. That's flowing. Like, did you ever drive through bad fog and you're like, that's it, I can't see anything, every angle? Think of your computer as always that. Make sure you have a real grip on your target before you click anything, before you do anything. Whatever's coming out of here, is really smoke and mirrors. So getting back to that, you've got to be careful of what you open. But now you have your Google Docs, and Google, by the way, has Excel. Who's an Excel person? Who likes Excel? Well, I remember some people are really good at Excel, multicolored sheets, the equations worked wonderfully. Peter, are you good at Excel? I'm getting a non-answer. That must be no.
Concatenate.
And Kathy, are you good at Excel? I could get through it, but some people made these wonderful things. Well, now you could go to a product called Google Sheets, does the same exact thing. And it's what LAUSD does, by the way. This way people can use that. Any questions on your Google suite?
Kathy had a question. Kathy in Nevada, go ahead and ask what you put in the chat.
Yes, Kathy, I see your question. Does it save as a doc file? Are you meaning as a Word file? Word files are known as .doc or .docx, and the answer is yes, 100% yes. When I go here, oh, Sally's got to go. Sally, be safe. We'll see you. When I go here, let me just share my screen again and give you that, because it's a really good example. I'm going to go back to Google. There's my document. There's my letter to Crystal and Alejandra. I'm going to save it. It's going to go File. Here's a language change, though, Kathy. There is a word change. It's not File, Save As. It's Download. The concept being is you're creating this document in your Google account, which is in a computer somewhere else, which is what the cloud means, by the way. It's through your Wi-Fi radio waves, your zippy fast Wi-Fi, you're using Google. So you can bring it to your computer. You can download it, meaning you could lose Wi-Fi connection, and still have everything on your computer. You do that with every document. So when I go to download, you will see Microsoft Word. In this case, the newer version is DocX. But even if you have an older version of Word, it will open a .doc file. So let's do that. Let's save that. I'm going to call it, so I can locate it, Word. Let's put it in downloads. Now let's show you the magic of this. I'm going to close all this. I'm going to open that document, and where is it? Downloads. So let's go open it. We made that in Google, and look, it just opened in Microsoft Word, and I could do anything I want with it. You know, I can add to it and play it again. So I've always found that to be a really nifty feature, that you can create your product on Google Docs or Sheets or any item there, and then save it in the file format that you want to, which you can then change and move on or go away. And you know, the good thing about Google Docs or the Google product is you can get it on your phone. Like you could write a document, you could do it on your tablet, and you could leave halfway off. You can be sitting, you know, at the bench at the Greyhound station, and you can go on your phone and you can open your Google Docs app and type in and finish it and send it from there. And Miss Moore, oh my goodness, highlight. You've got to unmute and say hello, Miss Moore. Great question, Miss Moore. What if I only use Google and not Microsoft? Then you're golden. So, Miss Moore, you've created your document, you know, your Christmas planning committee document. You can print it. There's a little picture of a printer. You can go and click print and then download it, and you'll have it that way. You can email it directly from there. You could save it on your computer as a Word document and send it to your committee partner. Doesn't mean you have to have Word. So it really works in a multifaceted way. But you want to hear something? Here's something vindictive. Ooh, let's get vindictive for a minute. So we have the Christmas party planning committee. Everybody's doing their part, but one person isn't answering emails. They're lagging. You know, they're not lifting their end of the couch. You've shared 3 documents. You say, we're done. You could go to your Google Docs and you can remove the document from their files. They're not welcome anymore. So you've shared it with Linda. I've shared it with Miss Moore. I've shared it with Crystal and Alejandra. And then our nemesis, Mr. Snidely Whiplash, who's not paying attention, we're just going to X him out. So he's going to go to his computer tomorrow. He won't be able to see the documents anymore. I'll say, Mr. Whiplash, we'll see you at the party, but we're going to take it from here. So you have the ability to move documents. And that's huge in corporations now, because like when you leave a corporation, you always hear the story. They look at their phone and like 80% of the information is gone, like in the click of a button. Well, you have that power yourself through these products. I feel like I should get commission for everybody that signs up with Google. If you don't have that, a Gmail account, it's a pretty good thing to have. Doesn't mean you have to use it. You can just go to google.com, sign up, create an email, and you get these features. And you don't have to be, you don't have to change your email from Maria@yahoo.com to Maria@gmail.com. It doesn't really matter. It's 2:52. It's time for our must-be computer tech nerd eating gummy bears stretch moments. Everybody take a step back and take a stretch. All right, well, that's enough. This is not Sean Foy's health class. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We're Dusty, you're overdoing it. So take it easy. By the way, oh, and for you new people, I forgot to mention, this class goes to 2:30 a.m. And at around 11:30, you're the ones that are going to have to order the Domino's for everybody. So we're going to start learning how to do the Domino's app. So you can get, there's 39 people here, you know, and the only one you don't have to order is if they add whole pineapple to the pizza. You can pass on that. So take a moment, stretch. We have some more things to do. We have some tech trivia. There could be no Googling on here. We have lots of winners because you're all smart. And we're going to continue this at the end of class, but we're going to do one question right now. No Googling. We will notice if you Google, Dusty has been able to get into your computer and your smartphone and your Wi-Fi while you're on the meeting. And if you're caught searching Google or ChatGPT, your retirement is revoked. You have to be at the office Tuesday. And you don't get your seat back in the ride share. So here we go. Tech trivia. Question 1. Who remembers that camera with that little flash? What year did Kodak produce its last camera that actually used film, where you put the film, you stretch the little sprockets on there, you close the door, and you pulled it out and you brought it to the photomat? So Dusty's going to look at the answers. There's no multiple choice today. You're going to have to guess the year. Here we go. Do, 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 do. Do 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 do. Answers are in. Bidding has closed. Dusty, do you have your eyes on the selections? Has Price Waterhouse given you the secret envelope? The answer is 35mm film cameras. Kodak stopped making them in
Oh.
2000.